So now let's move into the United States or abroad if you have ideas to share with us.
I would say once again, so in the United States and in England, first and foremost, stock exchange. Most people who live abroad have salary jobs. There are not very many people I know that have their own business and that's their main source of income. It's usually salary. Here's the thing with a salary job: when you save maybe a 1% to your salary, your employer tends to add maybe 0.5% or 1%.
Mm,
So it's free money. If you put in $100, that means somebody's going to give you free $50 for your pension. Then by all means, put at the maximum you
yeah.
can put in. In my company is 3%. So if
Okay.
I actually six, if I put in 3%, my employer puts in 3%. Then if I put in an extra 3%, my employer puts in half. So the first 3% is full match, the other 3% is half match. If you can afford it, please, by all means, put everything the maximum because it's free money for you. In the future, it's there. Now, once you've maxed out on that 6% of your, what in America they call it 401k, I guess in England they call it pension plan.
Okay.
Once you've maxed out of that, then you can start looking for other ideas of ways to invest.
Mm,
Um, and this is going back to the same ideas. You can either start your own side business. A lot of people start side hustles, sewing. A lot of people do, if they are into IT, they do IT jobs on the side. There are just a lot of
yeah.
things you can do on the side. And you can also, once again, real estate invest. I'm like I said, I'm very, very, there is something intangible about real estate for me, I believe, because it's the one thing that you will never get more of. Land, there's no more land in Britain. So when you own land, you are owning a finite resource. So I
Okay.
believe strongly about owning land, at least owning the home you live in. And after that, preferably owning one or two other rental properties. Now, for here are some ideas. I know of some people who maybe they're moving to another house, maybe they're moving to another state. Instead of having to sell the house you're in, why don't you rent it? Sometimes it may not be so much, especially when it's your own home, own occupied. In the United States, they do not require you to put in as much down payment as you would for an investment property. So maybe as you're moving in, after like 3, 4 years, maybe you find a new job in another city, instead of selling the house you were in before, rent that out. Don't do it by yourself. Go and get a real estate agent that is a property manager. They will
Yeah.
take 10% of the money, but don't worry, it will be fine. Just let them.
Yeah.
And keyword, that money is not extra money for you. Everything is money that is going to show up in 10, 20 years. Just forget about it. That's your retirement money there.
Okay.
Um, Another one is, or you can, every year you can start saving. If you can try my idea of, if the two of you working, maybe you can save half of the second person's salary.
Yeah.
And then maybe after 2 years, you have enough to pay a 20% down payment on a small 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom house that is giving you 500, 600 a month. That money, you think it's small now. Like, and once you finish paying your mortgage and all that, maybe the money you're getting on top is $150. You think it's small now. In 10 years' time, the house we started with was 8 years ago was $500 a month for rent. Now that house is renting for 1,000. Our
Okay.
mortgage payments have not changed, but over time the rents increased. So now what was a $50 and change is now like almost 300 to 400. So suddenly now the house is making sense. It's now, being something that we can now use to buy another property, something like that. And another idea somebody gave me, and I really love this. This was one of my previous customers. Every time his wife got pregnant, he bought a house.
Oh.
He said that he cannot pay, he says he finds it hard saving for college, for university. So
Okay.
Instead, he buys a house, maybe in the United States, $100,000 house is a very, it's just a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Is considered a small house here. So he buys a small house, and then he knows that in 10, 15 years, he has paid down the mortgage. So when it's time for that child to go to university, he will just borrow again against the house, the value of the house, $50,000, $60,000. And that is the whole school fees for university. And then that child goes to university for free. Yeah, that child goes to university for free. And as an addition, if he's, depending on how financially able he is, his idea is that once that child gets married, this becomes an investment property for the child. The child owns the house. Now, if things are not going too well, he'll keep it for his own retirement fund. But if not, the child gets an extra $100, $200 every month from the day you are married as a gift from daddy.
I see. Okay, before we get people so confused here about how easy it is to get a house, those of us from Africa, if to get a house, you have to build it. You buy the land, you get your materials, and you get your plan, and you start building. How different is that from the United States? Because somebody may think, how do you get to build a house or own one, and then every pregnancy you get another one and another one? You have so much money. Let's explain that a little bit.
It's two different systems, and they have advantages and disadvantages. So in the United States, they allow you to borrow a lot. So you can borrow, I think, up to 2.5 times your salary, which is good when you want to buy a house. And when I say your salary, your annual salary. So which is very nice when you want to buy a house, because you can buy it straight, and then over time you can pay it down. So that's an advantage. But the disadvantage is that if you're not disciplined, and you find this in America a lot, if you are not disciplined, that debt will swallow you whole. I know people that spend half of their salary financing debts. So they're not eating, they're not doing good things with it, they're just managing their debt. So if you're not very disciplined, it is like a trap. Meanwhile, at least in Nigeria, even now they have a little bit of borrowing, but even that borrowing is not the same as America. America, you can borrow for 30 years, and then you spend 30 years paying down the debt. In Nigeria, it's usually 5 to 10 years, so it's a much shorter loan, and they won't even give you the whole amount. Maybe they'll give you 50% of what you need. So you have to still save a lot. It's a very big, it's like heavy. Like if you are building a house, you are investing. Hey, it's a big thing. But the advantage is once you have the house, it's yours forever. You're not paying anything. You're not losing any money to the bank. It's yours. Because, for example, the first house we bought was $100,000. But over the 30-year loan, we're going to pay the bank 300 and something thousand because of interest. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, once you own the house, you're not paying any bank rubbish interest. That 100,000 is 100,000 you spent. That's all.
Yeah.
So there are advantages and disadvantages. And one thing I found, and here's something that I know my mom does a lot, is you buy a house with a big compound. And then she now built BQs around and rents out the BQs. Because sometimes it's very easy to just build a 1-bedroom. You can just, maybe you get a lump sum of your pension. You just build the whole thing, just one room with a kitchenette and a bathroom, done. Wow. And then she now rents that out. Then maybe 3 years later, she builds another BQ in one corner again, same thing. So that's something people can do if you already have property, but you have a lot of space. You can, or some people build shops in front of the house. So you can rent out the shop.
Yeah. And I think the whole point is that it's always good to have your own money. Yes, you can borrow, but it's always the best to have your own money, use your own money to invest. But in the United States and other places, there are options to do more.
Yes.
And if you think going for the loan or borrowing will allow you to do a lot more, of course, because you will not be in debt. But don't get yourself into that trap that Wunmi just shared with us, where your whole income, you are using it to pay debt. It also means that when you see someone with the latest iPhone, don't get jealous. They are probably not paying for it. It's not for them.
So I have to talk about that one, because that was a big issue. Okay, as I'm older, it doesn't bother me as much. But when I was in university, it was such a big deal. You see all these babes, nice nails. They always have, attached, hair, like weave on the latest stuff. And you're like, yeah, I'm just like eating beans and I'm trying to save for this stock market. And you're like, you see what they have and you want it. And it's okay to want what they have. But they found that if you are able to what's the word? Delay gratification, slow down, just wait for a little bit. You actually are probably going to be more financially stable than these people who just buy, because you never know their full story. You will
Yeah.
never know their full story. I remember listening to this. There's this guy on YouTube I really like, Dave Ramsey, and he has a group of people. So there's a guy named Anthony O'Neill, and he's a young man. He's almost 30 now. He talks about how one of his friends recently died. I said this guy was an engineer, and in America, engineers make very good money. The guy was driving a BMW. He had a very nice flat in the hottest areas in Atlanta. So when he died, they were like, "Oh, we are here to clear out his stuff. There will be investments. There'll be all sorts." He found out he had nothing. All his money was going to that BMW payment and that house rent. He had no investment. He had nothing. So you see this guy, he's going to the club, he's spending. You think there's extra money behind. You don't know that that's the only thing he's spending. So don't assume when you see people flashing. And I don't know about Ghana, but in Nigeria, boys floss. People love to show off so much. Don't assume that they have anything behind them.
Yeah, that's a really good advice. Don't. Yeah, I totally agree. Before we let you go, we are a thriving generation. We are always learning to improve ourselves. And today we are learning about money and how to manage our finances well. Do you have any final tips or advice that you want to leave us before you go?
Final tip 2. 1, I'm big on try and be disciplined. Sometimes think of your money like agriculture, and all of us were Africans, we know agriculture so well. When you plant corn in the ground, it doesn't grow immediately. It takes time before your maize grows. So treat your money, treat your plants that way. Have patience, let those things come out. Continually water it, keep on weeding it. It will grow. It will always grow. And just don't give up. Be disciplined, be like a farmer with your plants and with your money. Every day, every morning, every evening, water it, plant it, and it will grow. It
It will
will.
grow. Yeah, thank you so much. And I just want to add that don't be overwhelmed by all the information we are sharing. Start wherever you are, look around you. What can you invest in? Can you sell something? Can you give money to somebody around you to do something and double the money? Just look around you. There are opportunities everywhere if only you will look.
Can I give one story I watched on a
Yeah, definitely.
story? A man he was a bricklayer. He was not, and he wasn't getting a job. Like they weren't even hiring him every day. And you know how heavy bricklaying is. So he said that he had, and I can't give the amount in naira. It's small, but the equivalent of, he said he had 20,000 naira. He went to the market, he bought okra seed, and he rented a plot of land. He said he planted the okra, and okra grows in like 3 months. He said with that okra, he sold it for 60 to 70,000. Then he said, "Oh, really?" Then he took half of the 60,000, bought more okra, he planted it, he expanded. Within 4 years, he had married, he had hired 3 people for his okra vegetable he sells. So he now bought like 3 plots. He rented 3 plots of land, vegetable, okra, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't believe that he said the okra, he said the seeds were this, like the size of your hand, like just
Wow.
of okra. That's how he started.
Yeah.
So don't despise small beginnings. Do
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, because I see that we start looking at what others are doing in crypto, and it may not work for you. It works for somebody, may not work for you, or Uber you may not have the income to get a car yet. but you may be the person who has to get the okra, or maybe tomatoes, or maybe peanuts, or something. Start from somewhere. And
Don't be ashamed about it, whatever it is that's small. Everybody has gifts.
so start somewhere. Things around you don't need anymore, somebody may need them. Start selling those. You get the money, you invest in something else, you sell. There is always somewhere to start from.
There's always somewhere.
Well,
Just
thank you so much.
Just start.
Just
You're
start.
welcome.
I like that. Just start. Just start. Yeah. We love you and want you to do well, right? We
Yes.
want everybody to do well. Just start and you see the results with time. Be patient. Thank you so much for joining us, Wunmi. God bless you. We are grateful for this wisdom. We are grateful for this information. I hope that we will use it. We will use it, grow it, and then get much, much, much more. So
That would please me so much. I would love that.
yeah, that would be amazing. So you out there, if you have questions for Wunmi, please leave them in the comments below. If you have other great ways you are also making money or saving money or increasing your money, however you want to refer to it, share with us. Let us know. We would love to learn from each other. Is that okay?
Yeah.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Leave your comments below and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.